what are your first impressions of him then as a coach, as a person?
You know, it's been really great. He's not. I mean, you guys have talked to him a lot. He's a very talkative guy. At first, when you first meet him, what comes across is how much he knows about football and how much he cares about the game and cares about his former players and then his current players. So I really have gotten to enjoy getting to know Coach Longo, both personally as a coach, and it's been great. But he really cares about what he's doing, and so his passion shows every day when he shows up to work, and it's been great to experience that.
How familiar were you with his background before we got here, before the Highlands?
You know, I didn't know too much about Coach Longo. Obviously, his track record speaks for itself at Ole Miss, at UNC, not only with the unbelievable players he's coached, but the success he's had on field. I didn't know him personally as a coach very much, but once he was hired, he was here pretty soon afterwards, and I met with him pretty early on. And from the first time I talked to him, I knew that he was going to be a really good coach for us, and was really excited to get to work with him.
Just he just brings kind of the way you had grasp of the offense. Just what's been your process of kind of getting hold of the offense and what's been that like?
Yeah, you know, it's always a process whenever you start learning a new offense. Everyone learns it kind of differently, but just taking it one step at a time. We started as a group with mostly like the drop back passes. Well, we started with formations, motion shifts, like that kind of thing. Just get the fundamentals down, and then went on to some drop back passing game and slowly incorporated the run game. But really, just taking it piece by piece is the way that I handled it the best. Just kind of learning things on the fly, picking up whatever Coach Longo says, and really being dialed in meetings. He's really preached that terminology is really important for us. Whether it's quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, we all have to be on the same page with what we're saying. So one thing that's been important for me has been really writing down as much as possible in meetings. You know, everything he says for the most part, especially the first couple of weeks, I was writing down everything he was saying, just to try and get a grasp of what he wants for us to be communicating to other players and what he's going to be communicating to us. And so starting with that, it really builds on itself. And once you get the basics in, you can really start to add little gadgets here and there in every play, and intricacies to the offense throughout the process. And it's not too bad of a process.
How different has this been from what you've done in the past?
So for me, I've actually had in high school, I had quite a few head coaches, and obviously last year we had some coaching change as well. So I came in last year in the summer and had to kind of learn that offense quickly. And so it's not been too much different. I had a little bit more time last year, given that I committed in the spring and was coming in, and I started getting my feet wet a little bit earlier on. But at the end of the day, learning an offense is pretty similar. There's obviously every offense is going to be different, but the basics are going to be pretty similar. About your process to learning is going to be the same, whether you're learning a pro style offense that we learned last year, the area that we're learning this year. So it's been similar, but obviously learning the intricacies has been different.
You know, I don't know if you think this way at all, but most of these quarterbacks were brought in by the new staff,
Mhm.
one of the two in the old staff. I think you're the only walk-on among the group.
Right.
What were your goals coming into the spring, and are you surprised at all where you are? Because Phil made it sound quite clear that there's a pecking order. There's 18 and you, and he talked about your knowledge of the offense and how you performed on the practice field.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what to expect. Obviously, when you get the news, or throughout winter break, I was getting the news that people were committing. We had 3 commits, but really, there's 2 ways to go. You can kind of take that as a sign, like, oh, they're bringing in people, they want me out, or you can take it as, okay, they're bringing in people to compete. And I kind of took it that way. I said to myself, look, like, this is an opportunity, not only to get better, but at the end of the day, what's going to be best for this program? Whoever's going to play is going to be who competes the best, who does the best throughout spring ball. So why not compete every day? And so far, that's kind of how it's worked out. Just taking every day individually, not trying to get too far ahead of myself. It's easy to, as a player, as a person, to look ahead in the future really far. You can see, oh, what's going to happen next fall? What's going to happen towards the end of my career, like 4 years I'm here. And so when you start doing that, it starts getting confusing. But if you're just able to take stuff day by day, live in the moment, and really just come in ready to work every single day in the facility, compete, That's kind of the only way I thought to approach it. And so to answer your question, I didn't really worry about it too much.
Okay.
I mean, I knew what I was facing when I committed here as a walk-on. Like, I knew I was going to be an uphill battle regardless.
Yeah.
So bringing in extra talent, obviously, it's been fun to compete. But that's all that I saw it as, just competition. Just one more step that I could compete with.
To follow up on that, in a way, do you have to tell yourself, I don't care what their resumes are of the guys. I have to believe I'm just as good as them, or I can be just as good.
Absolutely, and I mean, a lot of that stems from confidence in myself.
Okay.
And I know that they all come from different backgrounds. A lot of them having had a lot of success. And honestly, that excites me because if I can prove then that I can compete with them, then it just is more confidence for myself. And so I think that so far it's been a great process getting to know everyone. We've had a really good group in the quarterback room. We've been slowly but surely getting to know each other a lot better. And honestly, it's been an enjoyable process because I have been able to kind of take it step by step and not get too far ahead of myself.
You talked about just staying focused on the task at hand, not thinking about the future. How
Right.
challenging is that, and how do you kind of make yourself do that?
It is challenging. I mean, I think it's in kind of human nature to get ahead of yourself and start looking forward to the future. And so being able to kind of just, especially when, I mean, like you said, 3 people came in, Nick, Braden, and Tanner came in. All of them came in as very successful quarterbacks in their own right. So it's very easy to just be like, look, this my future is going to be hindered by all these guys coming in. But to stay in the moment, it's a process. It's something I had to learn to do, and I think that my high school experience actually helped me do that. Not with recruiting, there's so many ups and downs, and if you let yourself get too caught up in all of it and just thinking about the end goal, you're never going to end up having as much success in the present. So it's been a process to get to that point where you can just focus on the here and now. But I think I've gotten pretty adept at it. I've adapted well to just taking every day individually, and I think I'll continue to be able to do that pretty well.
You're talking about taking a lot of notes. Do you go home at night and look at, is it just like a class in some ways? And